any given day in any given field of study, students at Albion College groggily make their way to the classroom for 1 to 2 hours of knowledge intake at a time. How much they learn or take away from that class period, however, perhaps depends on the commitment of focus and mental or physical note-taking. As a majority of college professors allow personal laptop computers to be used in the classroom, it is undoubted that students take advantage of the wireless internet provided in nearly all buildings on campus. Taking notes or looking at the PowerPoint online? Sure, computers are helpful in the classroom. Checking up on your roommate's Facebook status? Maybe not helpful for Intro to Philosophy or your neuroscience class, but at least you'll know she's in a bad mood and to meet her for lunch after class. Matt Leckel, student at nearby Western Michigan University, relates to Albion College students and their Facebooking in the classroom.
Do I Facebook in class? Yeah, I Facebook in class, totally. I mean, it's like the prof's up there yamming away. It's like, hey bro, I'm gonna just do my thing, check my Facebook, I can still listen to you, you know what I mean?
Though his boredom for class lectures is evident, Leckel stresses the positive side of social networking sites, such as another young adult favorite, Twitter.
The reason I use Twitter and the reason that it's relevant to class is because it's a real-time data aggregate. So there's relevancy to almost any topic that you could be talking about in basically real time and in a global nature. So I think any professor should actually be happy to have Twitter being accessed during their class, as long as students aren't looking up some, porn star or soccer goal, but they're using it for relevancy to the class.
It's clear that students love computing in class, but what do the studies say? A study published in the Journal of Computing in Higher Education, called The Laptop in the Lecture, examined the effects of computers in the classroom by allowing half the students in a class to use laptops during lectures, while the other half had to turn their computers off. The study found that students who used their computers during class scored significantly lower than students who didn't use laptops on comprehension tests covering information from the lecture. Even students who used their computers to look at information related to the lecture did worse on tests than students who didn't use computers at all. The study concluded that even when students were looking at information relevant to the class, their attentions were divided between the lecture itself and the additional material, making it more difficult to fully understand either one. Aware of the distractions that Facebook presents to his class, Professor Jeremy Osborne of Albion's Communication Department says that he takes it with a grain of salt.
No, it's not that people are necessarily getting less intelligent. It's just that because they've got their attention divided in so many different directions with trying to manage Facebook and watching YouTube videos and all that, and thinking that they can just pull things off the PowerPoint slides later and get the content when they need it for papers, I think that they're not getting the things out of class, being in class, that students used to before we had all these social networks and things that people could plug into all the time.
Professor Andy Boyan, also of the Communication Department, teaches a class on social media and the effects of websites such as Facebook. He understands the infatuation with one's social status. He doesn't frown upon it until you never look up in class.
It's not just in college where this is an issue. Workplaces are dealing with this too. People go to work and they get on their Facebook and they do their Farmville and they get fired because they're not doing their job. If people can't make that distinction, then that's going to reflect on them as an individual throughout life, not just here. So I consider it, those people who can multitask, can keep an eye on their status and take notes and do really well and turn in great work, great, more power to them. And I have students who do that. I have students who don't do any social media in class who do really well. I have students who don't do any social media in class who don't do that well. I have the range. So, I think it's up to the individual. I think it would benefit students more to pay attention in class, but I'm biased, I'm a professor.
If it's not at our fingertips, it's still in our mind. Our social statuses and those in our social networks are always going to be important to us. Professor Andy Boyan sums it up best.
I feel like people are always going to be buried in their social lives, whether or not Facebook's there.